Hello, guys. Global energy demand is growing faster than it has been in years. But something is actually very interesting happening, right? This time round, clean energy is stepping up to actually meet that growth. So, what I want to do in this video for you is to impact the big takeaways from the IEA 2025 Global Energy Reviews, right? And more importantly, I want to talk to you about what does that mean for you, right? If you're interested into clean energy sector. Does it sound like an interest for you? Let's stay tuned, guys. See you in a minute. Hello, everybody. How are you doing? My name is Tony Chi. I'm the founder and CEO of Renewables in Africa. What we do, very simple. We raise awareness about renewables energy and sustainability. So if you're interested in breaking into or expanding to Africa, we are your eco break to this market, and we can help with visibility, with lead, but also deals. Or if you say no, I think what I want to do is to actually decarbonize. We again at your eco bridge to sustainable pathway, and we can help you with carbon footprint assessment and carbon reduction strategy. So if you have any questions whatsoever, please do reach out to me. I'll be more than happy to talk to you about that. Now, the IEA, as I mentioned, has released a new report, which is Global Energy Review for 2025. So what's in that report? And I know most of the time, many of you, they see report like that, a couple of posts, but they don't read it. So my job is to bring that in front of you so that you understand what's happening. What are the changes that we're seeing? How does that impact you? And how do you position yourself? So that's what it's all about in this video. So I want to talk to you about some global energy trend that I believe you should know. So the first thing I want to say is actually it has been interesting because, and let me actually share a slide about that, right? So that first slide you see obviously dark blue. So what we see here, it's the global energy demand that rose by 2.2%. That was in 2024, but the actual electricity demand alone to jump to 4.3%. So that's one in the middle, the light blue is 4.3%. That's what that's the one in yellow here. That's what we see at 4.3%. Yeah. So, and what is quite exciting about this demand, so as I was talking to you about earlier on, is the fact that it's actually made by low carbon sources. So you definitely can see a shift is happening here. What are the low carbon sources I'm talking about here? I obviously talk about solar, winds, hydro, and also nuclear, right? Nuclear definitely is a low carbon source. It just so happened that, yes, it carries a lot of potential risk that needs to be taken into account. Yeah. So if you look at, like I say, so how are we able to meet this energy demand, right? And that's why I want to bring that second slide that I can share with you. And the second slide is actually showing that the renewables account for 38% of the energy supply growth, right? Which is followed by natural gas and coal, and we obviously used to that, right? But as I say, so there's definitely a shift that is happening here, and it's very interesting to see. And I don't know if you're paying attention to that. So that means that the sector absolutely is moving forward. You have to be positioning yourself, right? And carbon emissions, they rose by just a tiny amount, 0.8%. So that's what the report is telling us. But it's still very high. Let's understand it. Because actually, instead of raising, they should be going down. We're not declining yet. And that's where all the challenge is. Yeah. And without a clean tech, definitely, I believe they would have risen to even more, right? Probably something like an additional 2.6 billion tons. So that's what the report is telling us. So now, when you see that report, you see those increases that we're talking about. I'm sure you ask yourself, so who is leading the charge? We have an idea who leads, but who is leading the charge? So let me to bring the fact to you, so that you could see, and basically we can talk together. So who are those countries? So I just want to share again another slide, and that you can see. So clearly, the superpower. I've always said that time and time again. So when it comes to renewables energy, clean energy, there's only one superpower, and that superpower is China. You guessed it right, absolutely. Yeah. So China remains the largest energy consumer. Through the demand, or although the demand growth it is slowing, it is still the largest energy consumers. And why is second? So many of you may not know that, and it's worth noticing because that will give you an understanding how the economy is actually shifting. Is India. India is now the second largest source of demand growth, right? So definitely got to watch this space because definitely we could see that there's this two-horse race that sort of taking over. And now, who comes in third place? So, Mr. Trump country, yeah, America, right? So, US, but they're seeing a resurgence in energy demand, and but they're also leading the charge in emission reduction. So that is actually what we see here. So obviously, the graph that I'm showing here is very much for 2024. There's going to be an impact on 2025, right? Because we have a new administration in charge. There is a new policy, that they're rolling out, and we can expect to see some changes. The key question, like I say, away from the emotions, what does that mean for you in the industry? How can you position yourself? That's always the way I look at things, right? So then that's the way you should be looking at that as well, right? So, but what is worth noticing is that the solar PV remain the fastest growing energy source for the 22nd year, right? Straight year. So, and that is impressive. Solar is growing and growing and growing. And bear in mind, some places, like for example, Africa, we're just scratching the surface of what the solar industry could be there. So there's still a long way to go, right? Definitely, but the industry is moving forward. So in terms of EVs, EV, electrical vehicles. So if you're looking at obviously what has been the sales, so throughout the year, so we've reached 70 million in 2024. Yeah, it sounds a lot, right? But in fact, it's not that much, right? Because we're talking about a global world here, and you will see that there's sort of clearly the emergence of big brand like BYD from China dominates the markets. Tesla is very much losing ground in here, and I guess it's going to be losing more ground as well. So because obviously the backlash of some of the policy decisions that are backed by the founder Elon Musk. So they're going to be losing some ground in here. But yeah, like I say, the market per se, it's actually doing well. So 80% of all new electricity demand was actually met by renewables and nuclear. And that is great to see. Yeah. So clearly for me, as I say, the industry is moving forward. There's a lot to do, but the industry is moving forward. But the reason I sometimes have this conversation with you, sit here, run video. Yeah, I love doing video. I love engaging with you. That's fine. But the key question that I like you to ask yourself is, what does it mean in terms of opportunity? What does it mean for you? Where can you spot an opportunity for you? So let me just sort of break it down a little bit. So if you are a project developer, you can expect more capital flowing into clean energy, especially solar, EV infrastructure, but also smart grid tech. So that's actually what you could see. So if you're not a solar developer or a renewable energy developer, you're a job seeker, what you could be seeing as well is, you know, a lot of role that you will see coming up in data-driven energy analytics. So if you get those skills, position yourself. That's the time for you to do it. The solar engineering, ESG advisory, or carbon accounting. That's what we're doing as well. For example, they're heating up because people would like to understand a little bit more, obviously, how you can support them, especially those big companies, because they now have all type of regulation that they need to abide with. Yeah. So, and make no mistake, it's not because big country like in the US seems to be turning their back for now, obviously, in the sector. It doesn't mean that the whole world will do the same. No, the world is still a big player. Like I said, don't forget, when it comes to clean energy, there's only one superpower, as far as I'm concerned. It's China. Yeah, whether we like it or not. That's the way it is. So bear that in mind. So if you're an entrepreneur, what does it mean for you? So there is a massive opportunity in terms of electrification that you will see, because to go green, to decarbonize, we need to obviously make sure that we have a lot more electricity that we use for vehicles and for many other sources of energy. Definitely is a way here. Energy storage is another aspect, that another place where you want to be looking at if you're an entrepreneur. Charging infrastructure, because if we're going to be changing the whole fleet, of vehicle to electrify them so that we can have EVs, you need to think about the charging infrastructure. Without it, obviously we're going nowhere. And I've done a podcast on it not long ago talking about that. Local manufacturing, that is one thing that you want to talk about. You can see now with the tariff trade that we're seeing. So coming trade war, basically you can see that there is sort of a pull back globalization to some extent, and a lot of countries would like to localize the manufacturing, especially looking at some key element, key material, key part of the supply chain. So we could expect a lot more in this sense. So this is where tariff could play in your favor, right? Because you know that if there is tariff, because tariffs, don't forget, it's a tax, So for the person who is actually importing, so what's going to happen? The tariffs is very high, so they may actually sort of they actually can decide not to go forward with that import and decide to look at the local sources. This is how you can boost the local demand, right? So that means as an entrepreneur, you may want to position yourself there. Yeah. So that's something that we could see. If you are a student, this is a signal for you to specialize in clean tech, in climate finance, but also sustainability AI tool, right? The AI tool. And I'm going to talk about AI in a minute, right? So places like Africa, Latin America, Southeast Asia, they're ripe for innovation and green business model, tailor, to local reality. So if you definitely have an idea to make sure that you look at that. That's what I always say, people, especially those young people, watching the video, so want to learn, pick up. The key thing that one of the greatest advice that I could give to any such person, it's look at the trend, look at what is happening, look at what's going to come in the next 10 years. What are the skills that will be required? What are the key opportunities? How are you situated, with respect to those opportunities? How can you position yourself? If you do that job well, guess what? You may find yourself with, the best opportunity for the next 20 years. It's up to you to decide how you want to go forward. So I said that I was going to come back to AI. Let me just come back to that because AI factor, it could be a game changer, right? But it could also be hype, right? So we don't really know at this stage. But at the moment, let's say there is enough evidences, suggesting that it will actually be a game changer as opposed to hype, right? So, and I believe it's not just a buzzword as far as I'm concerned. So when you see, for example, the surge in electricity demand, you got to understand it's partly due because of energy intensive data center that powering AI infrastructure. Yes. And it's going to go more and more because for every prompt that you're doing, the amount of energy that is required for you to get that answer, it's gigantic. So where is that energy coming from? Have you thought about that? Hey, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. So it's a big consumer of energy. But also there's a flip side, right? Because AI is driving innovation in grid optimization, in demand forecasting, in predictive maintenance, and also climate modeling. So clean energy businesses, and they're now embedding AI. We're doing it in our company, right? So because we know that it's very, and don't be surprised because you're gonna see a number of, I would say, tools and products that we're gonna be putting on the market, in the next few months, because we believe that will accelerate the sector. But you gotta be understanding that there is two sides to a coin as always. Yeah, with AI you can do financing modeling, customer targeting. I'll come back to that in the next few months. Because people are always asking me, hey, where can I find the best opportunity in Africa and Europe? Where can I find the investor? Yeah, I'll come back to that. Like I say, carbon tracking, that's just the beginning. What can you do with AI? A lot, right? So those who, for me, understand both energy and AI tool, they will be shaping the future. Yeah, that's what I'm actually expecting to see. So pay attention to that. So clearly, some of the final thought as I'm wrapping around, right? I don't want to have a video too long. I know it's a Sunday and you gotta rest, but hey, let me first of all share that with you because I think it's very important and it's key. The world is changing. Absolutely, the world is changing, and it's changing fast. And those who are paying attention, they know that for every crisis, there's always an opportunity. Have you spot an opportunity for you? Yeah. And to help you keep up, what we've done with renewables in Africa, we created something very special, right? So I like you to go and check out our customized, GPT on clean energy. And that customized GPT, it's tailored to help professionals. Yeah, absolutely. Definitely helping those professionals. Why? Especially those professionals, in order for them to get the right information they're looking for, right? And that is what we want to do. So if you want to have, if you like to ask smarter questions, get faster insights, stay ahead of these fast moving sectors, you definitely want to be checking out GPT. Yeah, a customer GPT, RIA customer GPT stand for Renewable Insight App. And I'm just going to drop the link in here. And then you'll be able to go there and just search for yourself. So whether you are building, learning, or investing to clean energy transition, now it's your time. And I want to make sure that I help you the best I can to grasp those opportunities that are yours, right? So that's what I wanted to say. So hopefully it makes sense a little bit. So I'm actually very excited. I'm sure you could see that. So don't worry about what's happening around the world at the moment and trade war, tariff, inflation. It's part of the game. The question is, how can I make it work for me? This is always a key question, and I'm here to help you. So check out Customer GPT, and you get some of the answer that you've been looking for ages. Yeah, excellent, guys. Pleasure to see you as usual. And then I'm looking forward to talk to you next Sunday. But in between, don't forget, one day, one concept idea starting tomorrow, as usual. Take care, guys, and have a blessed Sunday. Bye-bye.